They smile at you. They use your name. They ask how your day was. But underneath the politeness, there's a calculated move happening. They're examining you. Most people think manipulation looks like yelling, like aggression, like someone telling you directly what they want from you. But that's not how it works in the real world. Real manipulation wears a mask of kindness, and here's what makes it dangerous. You can't even be mad at them. Because what did they actually do? They were nice. They asked about your life. They said they care about you. But if you pay attention, really pay attention, you'll notice something. There's always a moment where they say something that feels like a compliment but cuts deeper than criticism. There's always a favor that somehow creates a debt. There's always a conversation that leaves you feeling responsible for their feelings. This is manipulation disguised as love. And the scary part? Most people don't even know they're doing it. They're not sitting at home planning how to mess with you. They're unconsciously repeating patterns they learned growing up. They're seeking control without even realizing they're seeking control. But you need to know this, not to become paranoid, not to distrust everyone, but because recognizing polite manipulation is the only way to protect yourself from it. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how this works, what they're really saying beneath the words, why they're saying it, and more importantly, what to do about it. Why do we fall for polite manipulation? Because it contradicts what manipulation is supposed to look like. We're taught that abusers are obvious. They raise their voices. They insult you. They threaten you. So when someone is polite, when they're gentle, when they remember details about your life, we think they're good. But manipulation isn't about how nice someone is. It's about control, and the polite ones are actually the most effective. Because here's the truth. Everyone who manipulates you wants something: control, validation, power, attention. And the most effective way to get it is not through force. It's through making you feel like you owe them something. The reason polite manipulation works so well is because it activates your guilt. It makes you second-guess your own boundaries. It makes you feel selfish for saying no. And there's another layer to this. Most people who manipulate politely don't even see themselves as manipulators. They think they're helping. They think they're being a good friend. They keep doing it because they never stop to question why they feel the need to control. In their story, they're the hero, and you're the problem. Pattern 1. The concerned question. I'm just asking because I care about you. This is how it starts. They ask about your choices, but not like they're curious, like they're concerned. Are you really sure about that decision? Don't you think that might be too much for you? What's actually happening? They're planting doubt. They want you to question yourself. Pattern 2. The performative suffering. This is theater designed to activate your guilt. They make you feel responsible for their emotional state if you refuse. Ever since you said no, I've barely been sleeping. They're making you the cause of their pain. And it works because you're a good person. You spend emotional energy trying to comfort them for a wound you didn't actually create. This is emotional theater. Pattern 3. The subtle comparison. Your sister never had a problem with this. They bring up other people, suggesting that you're the problem. Most people would do this for someone they care about. They say it all while smiling. So when you feel hurt, you look like you're overreacting. They've made you the irrational one. This is comparison as a weapon, disguised as observation. Pattern 4. The conditional support. I support you, but they give permission, then plant seeds of doubt. I'm worried you might not be emotionally ready for that kind of commitment. The first part is the bait. The second part is the trap. Now you're defending your decision to someone who's supposed to be on your side. They support you just enough to seem loyal, but doubt you enough to be proven right. Pattern 5. The selective memory. I've always been there for you. They keep a mental scorecard that only counts the points in their favor, a debt that never expires. After everything I've done for you, I'd think you'd help just this once. They've rewritten history in a way that serves them, and they genuinely believe their own narrative. This is the ultimate manipulation. Pattern 6. The soft insult. You look tired today. Everything okay? It's presented as concern, but it's really an observation designed to make you feel bad about your appearance, about your choices, about something you're insecure about. Sometimes it's wrapped in humor. You're always so dramatic. You're such a perfectionist, it's funny. You care so much, it's kind of cute. The laugh at the end is supposed to make it seem harmless, but you felt it. That sting, that moment where you questioned yourself. And when you react, when you say that hurt, they look genuinely surprised. I was just joking. Why are you being so sensitive? Now you're the problem again. You're overreacting. You can't take a compliment or a joke. This is how they keep picking at your insecurities while maintaining plausible deniability. The laugh gives them cover. The "I was just joking" is their escape hatch. Pattern 7. The strategic agreement. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. But then they do the opposite of what they agreed to. Or they agree so completely, so thoroughly, that it feels suspicious. They validate every doubt you have. Yeah, that was unfair. Yeah, they were wrong. Yeah, you deserve better. They're the first to jump on your side. But here's the thing. They never actually commit to anything. They're just good at saying what you want to hear. The real manipulation happens later, when something goes wrong, when you needed actual help, because they never mobilized, they just agreed, which feels like support in the moment, but it's empty, it's hollow. This is the manipulation of false alliance. They're not on your team, they're just good at pretending. And the best part of this tactic, you can never call them out on it, because they did agree with you. They did say those things, so they're technically innocent. Pattern 8. The strategic vulnerability. I've never told anyone this, but they share something deeply personal with you, a secret, a fear, a shame, and they tell you how much you mean to them for being someone they can trust. What's actually happening? They're creating a false bond. They're making you feel special and chosen, and once you have that bond, once you feel like you're the keeper of their deepest secret, you're locked in. Because now if you try to set a boundary with them, you feel like you're betraying them. If you try to distance yourself, you feel like you're abandoning them in their vulnerability. They've weaponized intimacy. The worst part? This vulnerability might be real. They might genuinely struggle with what they shared. But that doesn't change the fact that they're using it to control you. They're using your compassion against you. And because the vulnerability is real, you can't even call it manipulation. You have to be the bigger person. You have to support them. You're now responsible for their emotional well-being. How the manipulation actually works. Before I tell you how to respond, you need to understand the deeper mechanism of why polite manipulation is so effective. Here's what's happening beneath all these patterns. The manipulator is testing your boundaries. They say something that's slightly over the line. They watch your reaction. If you don't push back hard enough, they know they can push further next time. They're mapping out exactly how far they can go before you break. This is why it's so gradual. This is why it feels subtle. Each individual moment seems harmless, but combined, they're building a foundation where they can do whatever they want, and you'll accept it because you've been conditioned to. The second thing to understand: they're seeking emotional validation through control. Most polite manipulators aren't trying to steal your money or make you do extreme things. They want to feel important. They want to feel needed. They want proof that you care more about the relationship than you care about yourself. When you prioritize yourself, when you say no, when you set a boundary, it feels like a personal attack to them, because it threatens their sense of importance. Third, they've learned that politeness is a shield. As long as they maintain a certain tone, as long as they smile and ask about your day and remember your mother's name, you're less likely to see them as manipulative. You're more likely to blame yourself for feeling upset. You're more likely to think, maybe I'm overreacting. This is why recognizing polite manipulation is so critical, because it's the most normalized form of psychological control that exists. What to do about it? Strategy 1. Name it to yourself first. Don't confront them immediately. Not yet. First, You need to recognize the pattern without self-doubt. When they ask a concerned question, catch it. Notice it. Say to yourself, this is doubt planting, not concern. When they perform suffering, recognize it. This is emotional theater, not honesty. When they make a soft insult, name it. That was hurtful, dressed as a joke. This self-awareness is everything, because once you can see the pattern clearly, you can respond differently. Strategy 2, respond without justifying. Here's the crucial difference. Most people respond to manipulation by explaining themselves, by justifying. This is a mistake. Wrong. I'm not being selfish. I have a lot going on right now, and I really need to focus on myself. Right. I've made my decision. I appreciate your concern, but I don't need your approval to move forward. Notice the difference? You're not defending yourself. You're not explaining your reasoning. You're just stating your boundary. Another example. Wrong. I know you're upset, and I'm sorry I hurt you. I didn't mean to say no. I care about you so much. Right. I understand you're disappointed, but I had to set a boundary. I still care about you, but my answer isn't changing. And here's an example for the soft insult. Wrong. That wasn't funny. You know I'm sensitive about my appearance. Right. I'm not okay with being spoken to that way. If it happens again, we're done here. Notice how you're not explaining, defending, or seeking their understanding. You're stating a fact. Your boundary is non-negotiable. Strategy 3, distance when necessary. Some people will adjust when you set boundaries. Some will escalate. Watch what they do. If someone consistently manipulates you politely, even after you've set boundaries, it's time to create distance. Not a dramatic confrontation, just less access to your vulnerability, less sharing about your insecurities, less time explaining yourself, less emotional energy invested. Eventually, they'll find someone else to manipulate, because manipulation requires a cooperating victim. Without your vulnerability, you're not useful to them anymore. Here's what most people get wrong about manipulation. They think the manipulator is the problem, but the real issue is the person being manipulated, not because it's their fault, but because they're the only one who can stop it. A polite manipulator can't control you if you won't feel guilty for your boundaries. They can't manipulate you if you won't seek their approval. They can't plant doubt if you trust yourself. So the work isn't about getting them to change. The work is about changing how you respond. The uncomfortable truth? Most people who manipulate you aren't evil. They're broken. They learned early on that the only way to feel valuable is through control. They don't know how to love without conditions. They don't know how to support without keeping score. And once you understand that, you can stop taking it personally. You can set boundaries from a place of clarity, not anger. You can distance yourself from compassion, not blame. Because here's the truth. The most dangerous people aren't the ones who yell. They're the ones who smile while they're dismantling you. And the only way to survive that is to never need their smile in the first place. Observe before reacting. Watch who celebrates you unconditionally. Watch who supports you without conditions. And watch who smiles the hardest right before they ask for something. Because the patterns don't lie, and you deserve relationships where kindness is never weaponized.